Right now, as you are listening, something unseen is shifting in your favor, and if you can perceive it with faith, your life will never return to what it used to be. God is about to flood your life with favor, not in drops, not in small portions, but in a way that overwhelms what you thought was possible. Many people hear words like this and dismiss them, but those who are ready will feel something rising within their spirit. Because when God moves, He first awakens awareness before He releases manifestation. You must understand that favor is not luck and it is not coincidence. Favor is the deliberate hand of God opening doors no effort could force open, aligning people no strategy could arrange, and accelerating outcomes no time could normally produce. Favor is when God steps into your ordinary routine and turns it into a divine appointment. Favor is when your name is spoken in rooms you have never entered, when decisions are made in your absence that still work for your good, when resistance collapses, not because you fought harder, but because God decided the season has changed. There are seasons when you struggle, and there are seasons when you stand still and watch God work. Many listening to this message have been in the season of endurance, the season of hidden labor, the season where you did the right thing and saw little reward. But hear this with clarity. Endurance is not punishment, it is preparation. God never floods a life that has not been dug deep enough to hold the water. The pressure you survived was not meant to break you, it was meant to expand you. The delays you questioned were not denials, they were divine timing, protecting you from receiving too early what would have crushed you if it came before you were ready. God is not careless with favor. He releases it when character can sustain it, when humility can steward it, and when obedience can protect it. That is why some blessings arrive suddenly after years of silence. People will call it overnight success. But you know how many nights you cried, how many mornings you woke up unsure, how many times you chose faith when doubt felt easier. God saw every unseen act, every moment of restraint, every time you trusted Him instead of taking shortcuts, and now the scale is tipping. Favor does not announce itself gently. When God floods a life, things begin to move rapidly. Opportunities appear that force decisions. Old limitations begin to feel uncomfortable. Relationships shift. Some deepen, some fall away. Do not panic when things start changing faster than you expected. Sudden movement does not mean chaos. It means alignment. God is rearranging your environment to match the level He is bringing you into. What used to fit will no longer fit. What once satisfied you will feel small. This discomfort is not loss, it is expansion. There are people who will misunderstand your favor. They will say you changed, when in truth, you simply grew. They will question why doors open for you, not realizing that God responds to surrender, not comparison. Favor is not fair in the human sense, it is intentional in the divine sense. God does not distribute favor based on public approval, but on private obedience. He looks at the heart that remained faithful when no one was watching. He honors the one who chose integrity when compromise would have been easier. You must prepare your mind for favor, because unprepared thinking can sabotage divine release. If you still see yourself as unworthy, you will shrink when God enlarges your territory. If you still identify with past failures, you will hesitate when new responsibility arrives. Favor requires agreement. You must say yes internally before it manifests externally. Stop rehearsing what went wrong and start aligning with what God is doing now. The past cannot define a future that God has already rewritten. When favor floods your life, provision will follow purpose. God does not bless randomly, He blesses strategically. The resources coming into your hands are not just for comfort, but for assignment. Favor increases influence, and influence demands responsibility. You are being positioned to impact more than yourself. That is why God had to refine your motives, because favor amplifies what already exists within you. If there is bitterness, it will grow. If there is humility, it will multiply. If there is generosity, it will overflow. God is not just blessing your hands, He is examining your heart. Some of you have been praying for change, but God has been working on alignment. You asked Him to move obstacles, but He chose to strengthen your discernment. You asked Him to elevate you, but He chose to anchor you. Now the foundation is set, and the flood can come without washing you away. Favor that arrives before maturity creates pride. Favor that arrives after surrender produces gratitude. God always chooses the latter. Understand this clearly. Favor does not mean the absence of challenge. It means the presence of God in every challenge. Even as favor increases, opposition may rise, but opposition is often confirmation that something valuable has been released. Do not be intimidated by resistance. Resistance does not stop favor, it reveals it. When God is with you, what stands against you becomes the platform upon which He displays His power. There are doors about to open that you did not knock on. There are invitations coming that you did not request. There are opportunities aligning that you did not chase. This is what happens when God floods a life with favor. Effort gives way to grace. Striving gives way to flow. This does not mean you become passive. It means you become responsive. You move when God moves, and you rest when He says, wait. Many people miss favor because they are looking for it to arrive the way they imagine. God often wraps favor in responsibility, hides it inside problems that need wisdom, and delivers it through assignments that stretch capacity. Do not reject what looks demanding. It may be the doorway to expansion. Favor does not always feel comfortable at first, but it always produces growth. You must guard your spirit in a season of favor. Pride is subtle and entitlement grows quietly. Remember who you were when you had nothing to offer but faith. Remember how you leaned on God when no one applauded you. Gratitude preserves favor. Humility extends it. Obedience multiplies it. God resists arrogance not because He withholds, but because arrogance cannot receive what humility attracts. Some listening to this have felt overlooked for a long time. You watched others advance while you remained hidden. But hidden does not mean forgotten. God often conceals those He is preparing to reveal. Public promotion requires private formation. The silence was not abandonment, it was focus. God was shaping you without distraction so that when favor comes, you would not be consumed by attention. When favor floods your life, clarity will increase. Confusion will lift. Decisions that once felt heavy will become obvious. God's direction becomes sharper in a season of favor because alignment produces vision. You will know when to move and when to stay. You will sense when something is right and when it is merely attractive. Favor sharpens discernment because it is rooted in relationship, not performance. Do not underestimate the power of obedience in small things. Favor often begins with simple steps taken consistently. A conversation you were hesitant to have, a habit you needed to change, a boundary you needed to set. God watches how you handle the small instructions before He releases larger authority. What you call insignificant, God calls qualifying. There are cycles ending in your life. Old patterns of struggle are losing their grip. Repeated disappointments are breaking. This is not because circumstances suddenly became kinder, but because favor is intervening. God is rewriting outcomes that once felt inevitable. Where there was delay, acceleration is coming. Where there was limitation, expansion is coming. Where there was loss, restoration is coming in a form that exceeds what was taken. Favor attracts helpers. People will come alongside you with insight, resources, and support at the right time. Do not isolate yourself in a season of favor. Learn to receive, learn to collaborate. God often delivers breakthroughs through relationships. Pride says, I must do this alone. Wisdom says, God works through people. Your voice is about to carry more weight. Your presence will influence rooms you once felt small in. This is not a reason for fear. It is a call to stewardship. Speak with intention. Act with integrity. Lead with compassion. Favor increases visibility, and visibility magnifies impact. God is entrusting you with more because you have been faithful with less. Some of you are standing at the edge of transition. You can feel it. The old no longer satisfies, but the new has not fully formed. This in-between space is sacred. Do not rush it. Favor is already at work, even when clarity feels partial. God often moves gradually internally before He moves suddenly externally. Trust the process without demanding a timeline. When favor floods your life, you will be tempted to explain it. You will want to justify why good things are happening. You do not owe everyone an explanation. Favor is not arrogance, it is acknowledgement of God's hand. Let your life speak. Let consistency silence doubt. Let fruit answer questions words cannot. There is a peace that accompanies favor. Not excitement alone, but stability. Not noise, but assurance. Even when responsibilities increase, anxiety does not dominate, because you know God is sustaining what He initiated. Favor does not drain you, it strengthens you. It aligns effort with purpose so that energy produces results. God is about to surprise you with how quickly things can change when alignment meets timing. What took years to build may shift in moments. What felt immovable may suddenly yield. This does not diminish your past effort, it honors it. God often waits until the lesson is complete before He changes the environment. Do not cling to familiar limitations out of fear. Favor requires release. You cannot step into new capacity while holding on to old excuses. God is inviting you to think differently, speak differently, and expect differently. Expectation is not entitlement. It is agreement with what God has already decided. There will be moments when favor challenges your self-image. You will wonder if you belong in places you prayed to reach. Remember this, God does not make mistakes in placement. If He brought you there, He equipped you for it. Confidence rooted in God is not pride, it is trust. Your history does not disqualify you from favor. It qualifies you to steward it with compassion. Those who have known struggle understand grace deeply. God often chooses those who remember what it felt like to need help, because they will extend help without superiority. As favor increases, your influence will extend beyond what you plan. People will watch how you respond to success. They will learn from how you handle pressure. You are becoming an example, whether you sought that role or not. Let your life reflect gratitude rather than entitlement. Do not fear the responsibility that comes with favor. God does not overwhelm, He empowers. What He releases, He sustains. What He begins, He completes. Your role is not to control outcomes, but to remain aligned. Stay attentive. Stay teachable, stay responsive. There are prayers you prayed long ago that are resurfacing now. Seeds you planted in faith are breaking ground. Do not grow impatient in the final moments before breakthrough. The closer the harvest, the heavier the anticipation. Favor often arrives when endurance feels most exhausted. You may not see the full picture yet, but clarity will come as you move. Obedience reveals the next step, not the entire path. Favor flows through motion aligned with faith. Take the step you can see and trust God with what you cannot. God is not only changing your circumstances, He is expanding your capacity to receive. This is why your perspective is shifting. This is why old fears are losing their voice. This is why faith feels stronger than it did before. You are growing into the level you are about to sustain. As favor floods your life, let generosity flow naturally. What God pours into you is meant to overflow through you. Giving keeps the channel clear. Gratitude keeps the heart soft. Humility keeps the vision pure. Favor is not hoarded, it is circulated. You are stepping into a season where effort meets grace, where preparation meets opportunity, where faith meets manifestation. Do not shrink back now. Do not second guess what God is doing. Stand with quiet confidence, rooted in trust, anchored in obedience, aware that the same God who carried you through the hidden season is now releasing what was held back for the appointed time. And as you walk forward, remain attentive, remain grounded, remain faithful, because the flood of favor is not meant to overwhelm your spirit, but to carry you into a deeper awareness of God's presence, moving with you, around you, and through every step you take as you continue forward without hesitation, without fear, and without returning to what no longer defines who you are becoming. There's a sacred intensity in this moment, because favor is not something you casually step into. It is something you grow into with reverence. God does not flood a life without first awakening responsibility in the soul. This is why you are feeling an inner stirring, a heightened awareness that your words matter more now. Your choices carry greater weight, and your alignment must remain precise. Favor sharpens consequences as much as it multiplies blessings. What once produced small outcomes will now produce multiplied results, both good and bad. This is why God is calling you into deeper discipline, not to restrict you, but to protect what He is releasing. Favor changes the way time behaves around you. What used to take years begins to happen in seasons. Delays compress, progress accelerates. This can feel disorienting if you are not grounded. That is why God is strengthening your inner stillness. External speed requires internal stability. Without it, momentum becomes chaos. With it, momentum becomes mastery. God is not rushing you. He is positioning you where time begins to cooperate with purpose. Some of you are about to experience favor that challenges your sense of identity. You have prayed for growth, but you did not expect it to demand this level of courage. Favor often asks you to stand where you once felt unqualified, to speak where you once stayed silent, to lead where you once followed. This is not God testing you to expose weakness. This is God trusting you to discover strength you did not know you carried. Confidence born from God is not loud, but it is unshakable. Understand this truth deeply. Favor does not mean everyone will celebrate you. Some will benefit from your obedience while resenting your elevation. Do not internalize resistance. Opposition does not define your worth. It confirms your assignment. God never promised universal approval, but He always guarantees divine backing. When He opens a door, no opinion can close it. When He establishes favor, no resistance can revoke it. There is also a quiet purification that happens in seasons of favor. Desires become clearer. Distractions lose their appeal. You begin to sense when something is merely available versus when it is aligned. This discernment is a gift. God is refining your appetite so you do not consume what diminishes your capacity. Favor requires focus. You cannot afford to give energy to what does not multiply purpose. Many think favor is about receiving, but its highest expression is alignment. When your will and God's intention move in harmony, life flows with less friction. You stop forcing outcomes and start responding to direction. Striving fades because clarity rises. This is not passivity, it is precision. You act decisively because you are no longer acting from fear, but from trust. God is also healing old narratives in your mind. Stories you told yourself about limitation, about always struggling, about never being enough. These narratives cannot survive where favor increases. You must release them, not because they were imagined, but because they are no longer relevant. God does not deny what you endured. He simply refuses to let it define what you are becoming. Favor rewrites identity before it reshapes environment. Some blessings will arrive disguised as responsibility. Do not resist what stretches you. Growth always feels demanding before it feels natural. God does not overwhelm, He expands capacity step by step. What feels heavy now will soon feel manageable, and what feels unfamiliar will soon feel mastered. Trust the process without measuring yourself against others. Favor is personal. God customizes timing according to assignment. Your relationship with God deepens in seasons of favor because dependency shifts from desperation to devotion. You no longer seek Him only for rescue, but for alignment. You listen more carefully. You move more intentionally. Favor invites partnership, not distance. The closer you remain, the clearer the path becomes. Be mindful of your inner language. Wow. What you say about yourself in private will shape how you carry favor in public. Words create atmosphere. Speak with agreement, not self-sabotage. Do not diminish what God is increasing. Humility is not self-denial. It is accurate self-awareness under God's authority. You can acknowledge growth without glorifying yourself. Favor also exposes where trust truly lies. When resources increase, when influence expands, when options multiply, the temptation is to rely on what is visible. Stay anchored. Favor flows best through trust that remains fixed on God, not outcomes. When trust shifts to provision, peace erodes. When trust remains in God, provision becomes a tool, not a source. There is a maturity forming in you that cannot be rushed. God is teaching you how to hold success without losing sensitivity, how to lead without becoming distant, how to receive without forgetting how to give. This balance is rare and it is cultivated intentionally. Favor is safest in hands that remain open. Some of you are stepping into rooms where decisions are made that affect many. Your presence there is not accidental. God positions people before He changes systems. Do not underestimate the impact of your integrity. One aligned voice can shift environments saturated with compromise. Favor gives you access, but character determines influence. You may notice that certain conversations no longer resonate, certain habits no longer satisfy, certain ambitions no longer drive you. This is not loss, it is refinement. God is narrowing your focus so your energy produces maximum impact. Favor simplifies even as it expands. There will be moments when you must choose obedience over comfort. Favor does not eliminate these moments, it amplifies their importance. Small compromises now carry larger consequences. Stay alert, stay grounded. God's guidance is steady, but you must remain attentive. You are not behind, you are not late. You are exactly where preparation meets timing. Favor arrives when readiness and obedience intersect. What you thought was delay was alignment unfolding beyond your awareness. God was protecting outcomes you could not yet sustain. As favor continues to rise, so will gratitude. Let it remain your anchor. Gratitude keeps perspective intact. It reminds you that everything flowing through your life has a source greater than you. Gratitude keeps the heart teachable and the spirit light, even under pressure. Do not fear sustainability. God does not initiate what He will not maintain. What He floods, He also stabilizes. What He enlarges, He also strengthens. Your responsibility is not to control the future, but to remain faithful in the present. Daily obedience builds long-term impact. There is a quiet confidence forming within you now. Not arrogance, not self-assurance detached from God, but a settled knowing that you are not walking alone. This confidence allows you to move without rushing, to decide without panic, to wait without anxiety. Favor produces peace because it rests on trust. You are entering a chapter where testimony will replace explanation, where results will speak louder than defense, where consistency will silence doubt. Do not strive to convince, simply remain aligned. God does not need your justification, He needs your availability. As you move forward, keep your spirit soft. Success can harden if unchecked. Favor thrives where compassion remains active. Remember what it felt like to hope, to wait, to need. Let that memory guide how you treat others as your influence grows. God is not only blessing you for you, He is positioning you as a channel. What flows into your life is meant to reach beyond you. This is why generosity feels natural, not forced. Favor circulates through those who release it freely. You are not imagining this shift. You are not misreading the season. God is doing something deliberate, something weighty, something that will require you to stay awake spiritually, remain attentive, remain responsive, remain anchored. And as this flood of favor continues to rise, let it carry you deeper into trust, deeper into obedience, deeper into awareness of God's nearness, knowing that the same hand that lifted you will sustain you, the same voice that guided you will continue to direct you, and the same favor that found you faithful in hidden places will now accompany you openly as you walk forward with clarity, courage, and unwavering trust in God alone. There is a depth of favor that many never explore because they stop at what it gives and never consider what it requires. Favor demands awareness. God does not elevate people to abandon them. He elevates them to partner with them. When favor increases, sensitivity must increase as well. You begin to notice subtle prompts, quiet nudges, inner restraints that were once easy to ignore. These are not restrictions, they are guidance systems. God is teaching you how to move with precision so that nothing He pours into your life is wasted. Favor also alters how you perceive adversity. Challenges no longer feel like proof of failure, but invitations to apply wisdom. When God is with you, difficulty becomes instructional rather than destructive. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this developing in me? Favor shifts your posture from victim to steward. You are no longer merely surviving circumstances, you are learning how to govern them. There is a courage rising in you that is quieter than boldness, but stronger than fear. It is the courage that comes from knowing God is not distant from your decisions. This courage allows you to say no without guilt, to walk away without regret, to wait without anxiety. Favor strengthens discernment, so you are not moved by pressure or persuasion, but by alignment. Not every opportunity is an assignment. Not every open door is yours to walk through. Favor teaches you restraint as much as it teaches you confidence. God is also reordering your priorities. What once consumed your energy is losing its hold. What once felt urgent now feels secondary. This internal shift is essential because favor without order creates imbalance. God does not bless confusion. He brings clarity so that your focus matches your calling. When order is restored within, overflow becomes sustainable without chaos. You may notice that your tolerance for compromise has decreased. Situations you once accepted now feel uncomfortable. Conversations that once felt normal now feel misaligned. This is not judgment, it is refinement. Favor heightens integrity. God is sharpening your conscience, not to burden you, but to keep you free. Freedom is preserved through obedience, not rebellion. There is also a strengthening of patience taking place. Favor does not make you reckless. It makes you intentional. You understand now that timing matters as much as action. For learning to move when God signals, not when impatience demands. This patience is not passive waiting, it is active readiness. You remain prepared, attentive, and responsive, knowing that alignment produces results more efficiently than urgency ever could. God is teaching you how to carry weight without losing joy. Responsibility is increasing, but so is grace. You are discovering that joy is not dependent on ease, but on presence. Even when the workload grows, peace remains because your source has not changed. Favor does not remove effort, it infuses it with meaning. There will be moments when you feel stretched between what you were and what you are becoming. This tension is natural. Growth always feels unstable before it feels established. Do not retreat into familiarity. God is enlarging your capacity, and expansion always requires space. Let go of old definitions that no longer fit. You are not abandoning who you were. You are honoring who you are becoming. Favor also teaches you how to lead yourself before leading others. Discipline becomes less about rules and more about alignment. You choose what strengthens you over what merely entertains you. You protect your time because you understand its value. You guard your energy because you recognize its purpose. Favor matures desire into wisdom. God is inviting you into deeper trust, not just in outcomes, but in process. You do an OT need to see every step to remain confident. Favor gives you the assurance that even unseen movements are working in your favor. What you cannot track, God is orchestrating. What you cannot control, God is stabilizing. There is a humility forming that does not diminish your authority, but anchors it. You understand now that influence is not proven by volume, but by consistency. You do not need to announce what God is doing. Time will reveal it. Favor allows you to remain grounded even as recognition increases. You may encounter moments where silence is required. Not every victory needs to be shared immediately. Some things are meant to mature before they are spoken. Favor includes wisdom to know when to speak and when to remain quiet. Silence can be stewardship. God is also teaching you how to receive correction without defensiveness. Favor keeps the heart teachable. You no longer see feedback as an attack, but as refinement. This posture preserves growth and protects future expansion. Pride resists instruction, favor welcomes it. There is a strengthening of faith happening that is rooted in experience, not theory. You have seen God move before, and this memory fuels confidence. When uncertainty arises, you do not panic because you have history. Favor builds upon testimony. Each breakthrough becomes a foundation for the next level of trust. You are learning that consistency attracts favor more than intensity. God honors those who remain faithful in repetition, not just those who perform in moments. Daily obedience creates long-term impact. Small decisions compound into significant outcomes. Favor is often the result of quiet consistency honored over time. As favor continues to unfold, you will notice an increase in responsibility toward others. People will look to you for direction, for stability, for example. This is not pressure, it is purpose. Lead with empathy, influence with integrity, serve without superiority. Favor entrusted without compassion becomes hollow. God is not rushing this process because He is building something durable. Temporary success fades, but sustained favor transforms generations. What God is establishing in your life now is meant to outlast trends, seasons, and circumstances. This is why the foundation matters. You may feel moments of awe as you reflect on how far you have come. Let that awe turn into gratitude, not complacency. Gratitude keeps momentum aligned with humility. Complacency stalls growth. Favor thrives where appreciation remains active. There will be days when the responsibility feels heavy. On those days, return to presence. Remember that God did not call you to carry outcomes alone. He called you to remain faithful. Release what is beyond your control and focus on what is within your obedience. Favor does not require perfection, it requires alignment. You are becoming someone who trusts without clinging, who works without striving, who leads without dominating. This balance is rare and it is cultivated through surrender. Favor shapes you as much as it surrounds you. God is not simply changing your circumstances, He is expanding your vision. You are beginning to see possibilities where you once saw limits. This vision is not fantasy, it is alignment with what God has already planned. Vision fuels endurance. When you know where you are going, patience becomes easier. As this season continues, remain aware that favor is not a destination, it is a flow. It moves through obedience, humility, and trust. Stay connected, stay responsive, stay grounded. Let the flood of favor continue to shape you, strengthen you, and carry you forward with clarity, purpose, and unwavering confidence in God's guidance, knowing that every step you take in alignment deepens the work He is completing within you and through you as you move steadily forward in trust. Let this truth settle deeply within you as you come to the end of this message. Favor is not a moment you pass through. It is a reality you learn to walk in with reverence. God is not teasing you with hope or stirring your heart without intention. What you are sensing is real. What is unfolding is deliberate. What is coming is aligned with the faith you chose when no one was watching and the obedience you practiced when it cost you comfort. Favor is not arriving because you demanded it. It is arriving because God found you faithful in the quiet places. Do not rush ahead of God and do not lag behind out of fear. Walk with Him. Let trust be your pace. Let obedience be your language. Let humility be your covering. You do not need to compete, explain, or prove. God knows where you are, and He knows how to bring you forward without damaging your soul. What He is releasing will not crush you, confuse you, or corrupt you if you remain anchored in Him. As you move forward from this moment, carry yourself with awareness. Speak with intention. Choose with wisdom. Expect God to move, but stay attentive to how He moves. Favor will not always announce itself with noise. Sometimes it will arrive as peace, clarity, or a quiet confidence that settles your spirit. Trust that peace. Follow that clarity. Honor that confidence by remaining surrendered. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into alignment. The same God who sustained you when resources were low will guide you when influence grows. The same God who taught you patience in waiting will teach you wisdom in receiving. Nothing about this next season is accidental. It is ordered, timed, and sustained by God alone. So walk forward without shrinking. Walk forward without arrogance. Walk forward with gratitude, courage, and steady trust. Let the flood of favor not only change what surrounds you, but refine who you are. And as it continues to flow, may your life stand as quiet evidence that when God decides to favor someone, no past can disqualify them, no delay can any them, and no resistance can stop what He has already determined to fulfill. My dear friends, something higher than timing pulled you here, because there is a warning you were never taught to look for, a danger you were never trained to recognize, and it is not outside of you, it is not around you, it is not even about what people did to you. God told me to warn you about your character, because while you have been watching doors open and close, while you have been praying for elevation, while you have been asking for blessing, there is something within you that has been quietly shaping your future without your awareness. And if it is not corrected, it will sabotage what God is preparing to release into your life. Most people believe their biggest enemy is opposition. They think delays come from enemies, from circumstances, from bad luck, from people who don't support them. But God says the most dangerous enemy you will ever face is the version of you that no one sees. The conversations you have with yourself when no one is listening. The decisions you justify when no one is watching. The reactions you excuse because you think they are harmless. Character is not what you display in public. Character is what governs you in private. And God is not blessing appearances. God blesses alignment. You have prayed for increase, but increase does not come to talent. It comes to trustworthiness. You have prayed for visibility, but visibility does not come to charisma. It comes to consistency. God does not promote potential. God promotes character. And this is why some of you have been stuck in cycles you cannot explain. You move forward, then something collapses. You rise, then something undermines you. You get close, then you sabotage the moment. You think it is bad timing, but God says it is misalignment. Your character is speaking louder in the unseen realm than your prayers ever could. You can say the right words, you can sound faithful, you can look disciplined, but God sees what governs you when emotions rise, when pressure increases, when temptation whispers, when no one would ever find out. And this is where many people lose what they were meant to carry, not because God withdrew, but because character was not ready to sustain what blessing would demand. God told me to warn you because your character is either preparing you for elevation or secretly disqualifying you from it. You think blessing is about what you receive, but blessing is about what you can carry without breaking. You think success is about arrival, but success is about endurance. God will never give you something that destroys you, and if character is weak, blessing becomes dangerous. Some of you are praying for abundance, but your character still negotiates integrity when money is involved. Some of you are praying for influence, but your character still craves approval more than truth. Some of you are praying for authority, but your character still reacts emotionally when challenged. God is not punishing you by delay. God is protecting you by refining. Character is revealed under pressure. Pressure does not create flaws, it exposes them. When things don't go your way, do you become bitter or do you become better? When you are corrected, do you become defensive or teachable? When you are overlooked, do you become resentful or faithful? These moments are not tests from people, they are examinations from God. You may not realize it, but heaven watches how you respond to small things before releasing greater things. How you handle inconvenience determines whether you can handle responsibility. How you treat people who can do nothing for you determines whether you are fit to lead those who depend on you. How you speak when you are tired determines whether you can be trusted when you are empowered. God told me to warn you because character erosion happens quietly. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't scream. It whispers. it compromises a little here, justifies a little there. It says, it's not that serious. It says, everyone does it. It says, I'll fix it later. But later becomes a habit, and habits become a lifestyle, and lifestyles become destiny. You don't lose your future in one dramatic decision. You lose it in repeated small allowances. One unchecked attitude, one tolerated dishonesty, one nurtured resentment, one prideful thought you refuse to confront. God is patient, but patience does not mean permission. Delay is mercy, giving you time to realign. Some of you are wondering why God feels silent. It is not because God has left, it is because God is watching. Watching how you handle silence, watching how you steward waiting, watching whether you remain faithful when no reward is visible. Silence is not absence, silence is observation. Your character determines the ceiling of your life. Skill may get you noticed, but character keeps you sustained. Gifts may open doors, but character decides how long they stay open. God is not impressed by how fast you rise. God is concerned with how well you stand. There are people who reach heights they were not prepared to live at, and the fall was not because of opposition. It was because character could not hold the weight of elevation. God refuses to make you an example of collapse. That is why refinement feels uncomfortable. That is why correction feels heavy. That is why conviction keeps showing up in areas you want to ignore. You think God is asking too much of you, but God is simply asking you to become what your future requires. Where you are going demands discipline. Where you are going demands humility. Where you are going demands integrity, even when it costs you. God is not shaping you for where you are. God is shaping you for where you are headed. Some of you are fighting battles that character would have prevented. You are exhausted from managing consequences that integrity would have eliminated. God says, if you fix the root, the fruit will change. If you deal with character, outcomes will follow. Character is who you are when no applause is present. It is who you are when recognition is absent. It is who you are when obedience costs you comfort. God sees every private choice and weighs it with eternal accuracy. Nothing is wasted, nothing is overlooked. You may feel unnoticed right now, but heaven is recording your consistency. Every time you choose truth over convenience, every time you choose patience over reaction, every time you choose faithfulness over shortcuts. These moments are not small, they are shaping capacity. God told me to warn you because some of you are mistaking kindness for approval. God's mercy has kept you, but mercy is not endorsement. Grace has covered you, but grace is not agreement with misalignment. God loves you too much to elevate what would destroy you. This is why character development often feels lonely. It removes excuses. It removes comparisons. It forces self-examination. And many people run from it because it is easier to blame circumstances than confront self. But hear this clearly, God is not trying to expose you to shame you. God is exposing you to save you. Conviction is not condemnation, it is invitation. An invitation to align before promotion arrives. You don't need a new season, you need a refined foundation. You don't need more opportunities, you need deeper integrity. You don't need more favor, you need stronger discipline. God is not withholding, God is preparing. Some of you have been asking, why am I always tested? Because what is coming is weighty. Some of you have been asking, why does obedience feel so costly? Because the reward will be greater than comfort ever could be. Some of you have been asking, why does God keep dealing with the same area? Because that area controls access to the next level. Your character is either aligned with your prayers or contradicting them. You cannot pray for peace while feeding bitterness. You cannot pray for blessing while tolerating dishonesty. You cannot pray for authority while refusing accountability. God responds to alignment, not noise. This is a moment of decision, not emotional decision, but internal decision. Will you allow God to correct what no one else sees? Will you surrender the attitudes you have defended? Will you let go of the behaviors you have justified, because what God is preparing is bigger than what you are protecting? Some of you are closer than you think, but closeness does not mean readiness. Readiness is proven in private obedience. God will trust you when you can be trusted without supervision. Your character speaks when your mouth is silent. It testifies when your words stop, and heaven listens carefully. This warning is not to scare you, it is to save you from self-sabotage. God has already written increase into your future, but character determines timing. God has already assigned influence to your life, but character determines scale. God has already planned elevation, but character determines sustainability. If you feel conviction right now, that is not rejection, that is love. That is God saying, I see what you could become, and I refuse to let you settle. Do not rush this process. Do not resist this correction. Do not silence this inner prompting. Because once character aligns, doors open without force. Favor flows without manipulation. Peace settles without effort. God is not asking you to be perfect. God is asking you to be honest. Honest about weaknesses, honest about motives, honest about areas that need growth. God works with humility, not pretense. The most dangerous thing you can do is ignore this warning. The safest thing you can do is respond to it. Your future is listening. Your destiny is waiting. And your character is deciding everything right now, even if you are not aware of it yet. There is a deeper layer God is addressing now, because character is not only about what you refuse to do, it is about what you are willing to endure without losing who you are. Many people think character is proven by restraint, but heaven measures character by endurance. Can you remain pure when pressure increases? Can you remain faithful when results delay? Can you remain humble when recognition finally arrives? God watches how you carry weight long before He allows you to carry influence. Some of you have endured storms that were not meant to break you, but to reveal what governs you. Storms expose foundations. When life shakes you, what comes out is not the storm, it is what was already inside. That is why God allows testing, not to harm you, but to show you where reinforcement is needed. Weak character collapses under pressure. Refined character becomes stronger through it. You must understand this truth, God does. It's not refined character to restrict you, but to expand your capacity. Capacity is spiritual. It determines how much peace you can hold, how much responsibility you can manage, how much blessing you can steward without corruption. Without character, increase turns into chaos. With character, even small beginnings carry eternal weight. Many people pray for open doors, but God first builds inner walls. Walls of discipline, walls of discernment, walls of restraint. Because open doors without inner strength lead to compromise. God refuses to expose you to temptation you are not fortified to resist. Your reactions are revealing your readiness. When correction feels like attack, pride is still present. When waiting feels unbearable, impatience still governs. When success in others triggers jealousy, insecurity still speaks. These are not moral failures, they are indicators. God reveals them so they can be healed before they become destructive. Some of you are fighting invisible battles because character development is invisible work. no applause, no recognition, no instant reward. But heaven sees every moment you choose obedience over impulse, every time you remain silent when ego demands response, every time you walk away from what looks good but feels misaligned. These are not losses, they are investments. God told me to tell you that your private obedience is building public stability. Your unseen discipline is shaping visible authority. What you conquer internally determines what cannot conquer you externally. That is why shortcuts are dangerous. They skip formation, they bypass depth, and what bypasses depth eventually collapses under exposure. You must stop asking why others seem to advance faster. Speed is not success, alignment is. Many people arrive early and fall quickly. God would rather delay you than destroy you. God would rather mature you than rush you. Timing without character is tragedy waiting to happen. Character also determines who God connects you to. Destiny relationships are filtered through integrity. God will not attach you to what you will mishandle. Some connections are delayed because character alignment is still in progress. When you change, your circle changes. When your integrity deepens, your access widens. There is a reason God keeps returning you to the same lesson. Not to frustrate you, but to ensure mastery. Lessons unlearned repeat as cycles. Once character shifts, cycles break effortlessly. What once required prayer suddenly requires only wisdom. Your words matter because speech reveals inner governance. Complaining weakens spiritual authority. Justification strengthens deception. Gratitude refines perception. God listens not just to what you say to Him, but to what you say about life, about others, about yourself. Speech trains the heart. God is shaping you into someone who can be trusted with silence, trusted with secrets, trusted with power, trusted with influence. These require inner restraint, power, wit. Without restraint becomes abuse. Influence without humility becomes manipulation. Wealth without character becomes bondage. You must learn to self-govern before you can govern anything else. God will never place authority in hands that cannot control emotion, ego, or appetite. Appetite unmanaged becomes addiction. Ego unmanaged becomes destruction. Emotion unmanaged becomes instability. This season may feel intense because refinement accelerates when promotion approaches. God intensifies instruction when destiny draws near. That discomfort you feel is not rejection, it is preparation. Do not resent correction. Correction is proof of investment. God corrects what He intends to use. What He ignores, He abandons. Conviction is evidence of calling. You are being trained to discern between opportunity and assignment. Not every open door is from God. Character gives you discernment to say no to what looks good but leads nowhere. Discipline teaches you to wait for what aligns, not what excites. God is raising you to value consistency over intensity. Anyone can be intense briefly. Few can be consistent long-term. Consistency builds trust with heaven. Trust releases stewardship. Some of you have underestimated the power of daily faithfulness. Daily obedience compounds. Daily integrity compounds. Daily humility compounds. Over time, it creates unshakable stability. God is not just building your future, He is building your legacy. And legacy is not built on moments, but on patterns. Patterns of truth, patterns of restraint, patterns of honor. The warning you heard is mercy. Mercy before exposure. Mercy before promotion. Mercy before responsibility increases. God corrects privately to prevent public collapse. You must respond now, not with emotion, but with alignment. Invite God to search areas you have avoided. Surrender attitudes you have defended. Release habits you have normalized. Because where character aligns, favor accelerates. There is a version of you God is calling forth. One that can stand in blessing without bowing to pride. One that can hold influence without losing humility. One that can walk in abundance without compromising truth. This is the moment you choose depth over display, substance over speed, formation over fame. And when character is complete, elevation will be effortless. God is not finished. God is intentional. And what is coming will require the character you are becoming now. There is another dimension God is addressing, and it concerns the unseen agreements you have made within yourself. Character is not only formed by what you do, but by what you tolerate internally. Every time you excuse a thought that dishonors truth, every time you entertain bitterness and call it realism, every time you rehearse fear and label it wisdom, you are shaping an inner environment that either hosts God's guidance or resists it. God does not dwell where excuses are protected. God moves where surrender is complete. Many people want God to change outcomes, but God first confronts agreements. Agreements with fear, agreements with mediocrity, agreements with comfort, agreements with self-pity. You cannot walk into a new future while renewing contracts with old limitations. Character transformation begins when you cancel internal permissions that contradict God's direction. You must understand that character is not passive. It is aggressively cultivated. Left unattended, it deteriorates. Just as a field left unguarded grows weeds, a heart left undisciplined grows compromise. God is calling you to active stewardship of your inner life. Watch what you allow to stay. Guard what you allow to grow. Some of you have been praying for clarity, but clarity cannot coexist with inner chaos. God speaks clearly to hearts that are quiet enough to listen and disciplined enough to obey. Noise inside the soul distorts instruction. That is why God is drawing you into stillness. Not inactivity, but alignment. God is teaching you discernment beyond emotion. Feelings fluctuate, character stabilizes. There will be seasons when obedience feels unrewarded, when integrity feels expensive, when patience feels invisible. These are not indicators of failure. They are confirmations of maturity. God measures progress differently than people do. You are being trained to live by conviction rather than reaction. Reaction is immediate, emotional, and often regretful. Conviction is steady, grounded, and forward-moving. When conviction governs you, storms lose authority over your decisions. God is also addressing how you handle power in small forms. Power shows up as choice. Choice over words. Choice over attitude. Choice over response. If you misuse power in small areas, you will misuse it in larger ones. God entrusts influence to those who respect restraint. Some of you wonder why certain temptations keep appearing. It is not because you are weak. It is because you are being strengthened. Resistance builds authority. Every temptation resisted trains your spirit to govern desire instead of being governed by it. God is shaping mastery within you. You must stop confusing rest with escape. God allows rest to restore you, not to numb you. Escaping responsibility weakens character. Facing responsibility with God strengthens it. The goal is not comfort, the goal is alignment. God is also refining your relationship with truth. Truth spoken without love becomes cruelty. Love without truth becomes compromise. Character holds both without imbalance. God is teaching you to speak truth without ego and to walk in humility without fear. There is a sacred weight attached to trust. When God trusts you, heaven moves differently around you. Provision aligns, protection increases, direction sharpens. Trust is not given lightly, it is earned through consistency. Some of you are being trained to handle misunderstanding. Being misunderstood does not mean being misaligned. Often those walking in integrity are misread by those walking in comfort. God sees correctly even when people do not. You are also learning how to wait without growing resentful. Resentment poisons progress. Waiting with trust keeps the heart clean. Clean hearts hear God more clearly. God is calling you to mature beyond comparison. Comparison steals gratitude. Gratitude fuels faith. When you celebrate others sincerely, you demonstrate readiness for your own release. Character determines whether you become a channel or a container. Containers fill and stop. Channels receive and release. God flows through those who remain open, humble, and aligned. You must allow God to recalibrate your definitions of success. Success without peace is failure in disguise. Achievement without integrity is empty. God's success leaves no residue of guilt, no trail of regret. God is not preparing you to impress people. God is preparing you to impact generations. Generational impact requires long obedience, not short excitement. It requires roots, not just branches. You are being trained to recognize divine timing. Not every delay is denial. Some delays are alignment windows. Some pauses are protection moments. Character discerns timing without panic. God is also addressing how you treat authority. Respect without fear, honor without flattery, submission without loss of identity. How you handle authority determines how authority will handle you. You are being shaped into someone who can walk through doors without losing reverence. Familiarity, candor, gratitude. God wants you to remain awed no matter how high you go. Do not underestimate how closely God watches your hidden faithfulness. Hidden faithfulness is loud in heaven. It echoes in ways you cannot see yet. This is a season of internal elevation. External change will follow. God always builds inwardly before manifesting outwardly. When the inside is ready, the outside responds naturally. Let God finish this work. Do not rush it. Do not resist it. Do not negotiate with it. What God is shaping in you now will become the foundation that holds everything He releases later. Your character is becoming a dwelling place strong enough to host what you have been praying for. And when that work is complete, nothing meant for you will be able to miss you. God is now drawing your attention to the weight of responsibility that comes with answered prayers. Many people desire outcomes without considering the demands those outcomes place on the soul. When God answers you, your life becomes a testimony, and testimonies are watched. Influence increases visibility, and visibility magnifies flaws if character is not anchored. God is not delaying answers to frustrate you. God is strengthening foundations so answers do not expose you. There are levels of blessing that require emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is the ability to remain steady when feelings fluctuate. God does not want your peace to be seasonal, dependent on circumstances. God wants your peace to be rooted in dependent of outcomes. That kind of peace only grows in hearts disciplined by trust. Some of you are being refined in how you handle disappointment. Disappointment can either deepen wisdom or harden the heart. God watches which direction you choose. A hardened heart blocks instruction. A softened heart receives guidance. Character is proven when expectations collapse and faith remains intact. God is also addressing how you handle correction from unexpected places. Sometimes instruction comes through people you would not choose, in moments you did not plan. Pride resists the messenger and misses the message. Humility extracts wisdom even from uncomfortable encounters. God teaches the teachable. You are learning that obedience is not always dramatic. Often it is quiet, repetitive, unseen. But quiet obedience accumulates spiritual authority. Authority is not declared, it is recognized by results over time. God is shaping your relationship with patience. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active trust. It is choosing consistency while the clock seems slow. Patience builds endurance, and endurance builds credibility with heaven. Some of you are being refined in how you handle success itself. Success can intoxicate if character is shallow. Praise can distort identity if humility is weak. God teaches you to receive honor without absorbing it, to remain grounded while being elevated. God is also teaching you restraint in speech. Silence is sometimes stronger than explanation. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every attack needs response. Character knows when to speak and when to remain still. You're being prepared to carry responsibility without complaint. Complaining shifts focus from provision to pressure. Gratitude keeps vision clear. God entrusts more to those who steward joy under weight. God is addressing the alignment between your inner convictions and your outer actions. Inconsistency drains spiritual authority. Integrity restores it. When actions and convictions agree, confidence increases naturally. You are learning that faithfulness in obscurity is more powerful than performance in visibility. Obscurity reveals motive. Are you serving because you are seen or because you are aligned? God promotes those who serve without audience. God is also refining how you handle boundaries. Boundaries are not rejection, they are protection. Saying no is sometimes obedience. Overextension weakens effectiveness. God values sustainability over exhaustion. Some of you are being trained to discern spiritual noise from divine instruction. Not every voice deserves attention. Not every opinion carries weight. Character filters voices through truth, not popularity. God is shaping your understanding of strength. Strength is not dominance, it is self-control. Strength is not loudness, it is stability. Strength is the ability to remain righteous when compromise would be easier. You are being prepared for moments when you must stand alone. As solitude tests conviction. When no one agrees, will you still obey? God often confirms alignment through isolation before revealing impact. God is also dealing with how you process failure. Failure is information, not identity. Character learns without collapsing. Shame paralyzes. Humility corrects. God redeems those who rise wiser. You are being trained to trust God's perspective over immediate evidence. Faith sees beyond present conditions. Character holds belief steady when proof delays. God is building resilience within you. Resilience allows you to recover without resentment, to restart without bitterness, to continue without losing faith. Resilient character is essential for long-term impact. You are learning to value obedience over applause. Applause fades, alignment endures. God rewards faithfulness even when recognition never comes. God is now confronting the quiet compromises that feel harmless but slowly reshape direction. Not all compromise is loud. Some compromises wear the mask of wisdom. Some hide behind logic. Some disguise themselves as self-preservation. But God sees every place where truth was reduced to convenience, where conviction was softened to avoid discomfort. Character is formed at the point where obedience costs you something and you still choose alignment. There are moments when God asks you to release what you have grown comfortable with, not because it is sinful, but because it is limiting. Comfort can become a ceiling. Familiarity can become a prison. God disrupts what is familiar to awaken what is possible. Character grows when you obey before you fully understand. You are being taught how to handle unanswered questions without losing trust. Faith does not require explanation to remain steady. God does not owe clarity before obedience. Some instructions only make sense after movement begins. Character moves first. Understanding follows later. God is also revealing how you steward power when it comes disguised as freedom. Freedom without discipline becomes disorder. Discipline without freedom becomes bondage. God balances both in those He prepares for influence. Balance is not accidental, it is learned. Some of you are being refined in how you handle delay when you know you are capable of more. Capability does not equal readiness. Readiness includes emotional strength, moral clarity, and spiritual depth. God prepares the whole person, not just the visible skill. God is shaping you to withstand seasons where results do not match effort. This is where many abandon integrity. This is where many choose shortcuts. But those who remain faithful here build unshakable credibility with heaven. Heaven responds to perseverance. You are also learning to let go of outcomes you cannot control. Control creates anxiety. Trust creates peace. God does not ask you to manage outcomes. God asks you to manage obedience. When obedience is steady, outcomes align in time. God is correcting how you interpret resistance. Resistant. Does not always mean rejection. Sometimes resistance is confirmation that growth is happening. Resistance strengthens resolve when character is anchored. You are being prepared to lead yourself before leading others. Self-leadership requires honesty. It requires confronting motives, correcting attitudes, and choosing growth over comfort. God will not elevate you beyond your ability to govern yourself. God is also addressing how you carry disappointment without spreading it. Disappointment handled poorly becomes cynicism. Cynicism blocks vision. God wants your heart clear, so your sight remains sharp. You are learning that righteousness is not fragile. Truth does not need defense through aggression. Integrity does not require explanation. God defends what is aligned with Him. God is refining your patience with people. People will move slower than your vision. People will misunderstand your intentions. Character responds with grace without surrendering truth. Grace keeps the door open without lowering standards. You are being taught to trust God's process more than your perception. Perception is limited. God's view is complete. What feels delayed may be perfectly timed. What feels denied may be redirected. God is strengthening your ability to remain grateful in transition. Gratitude anchors you between seasons. It keeps your heart from drifting while direction is still forming. God is also dealing with your inner dialogue. How you speak to yourself shapes how you obey God. Self-condemnation weakens resolve. Humility strengthens growth. God corrects you without shaming you. You are being trained to discern when to advance and when to wait. Movement without instruction creates confusion. Waiting without trust creates fear. Character knows the difference. God is forming endurance that does not burn out under pressure. Burnout comes from striving without alignment. Alignment produces sustainable strength. You are being prepared for a future where people depend on your steadiness. When others panic, you must remain grounded. When others compromise, you must remain anchored. This steadiness is built now. God is also refining how you handle private victories. Pride begins in secret before it shows in public. Gratitude protects the heart even when no one knows what you overcame. You are learning that obedience today protects you tomorrow. What you resist now will not control you later. What you submit now will not enslave you later. God is shaping a depth in you that cannot be shaken by applause or crushed by criticism. Depth stabilizes identity. Shallow confidence collapses under pressure. You are being invited into greater intimacy with God, not emotional intensity, but relational trust. Trust grows when obedience is consistent. This refining work is intentional. Every internal adjustment is preparing you for external responsibility. God does not waste seasons. God does not rush formation. God builds what lasts. Now hear this final truth. With clarity and sobriety, character is not something you develop on the way to destiny. It is the very thing destiny rests upon. God has never been concerned with how loudly you declare faith. God has always been concerned with how deeply truth governs you. What you are becoming in secret is shaping what you will be trusted with in public. This moment is not about emotion, excitement, or inspiration. It is about alignment. Alignment between what you believe, what you choose, and how you live when no one is watching. God is inviting you into a higher standard, not to burden you, but to protect you. Protection from self-sabotage, protection from premature exposure, protection from blessings that would arrive before your foundation is strong enough to hold them. God is far more invested in your longevity than your speed, far more invested in your stability than your spotlight. What God gives you, God intends to keep established through you. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. A warning received becomes wisdom. Wisdom acted upon becomes strength. Strength sustained becomes authority. Authority aligned becomes impact. God is not distant from you. God is deeply involved in who you are becoming. Every conviction you felt was intentional. Every inner stirring was purposeful. This was not condemnation. This was preparation. Choose depth now. Choose obedience now. Choose integrity now, even when it costs you something. What you surrender today will never be able to control you tomorrow. What you align today will carry you safely into everything God has prepared for you. And when the doors open, when the weight increases, when the calling becomes visible, you will not collapse under it. You will stand because your character will already be strong enough to hold what God releases. There are seasons when God speaks loudly, and there are seasons when God works quietly. Many people lose their faith not because God has abandoned them, but because God has gone silent. Silence does not mean absence. Silence means construction. Silence means planning. Silence means alignment. When an architect is designing a masterpiece, the building site often looks empty before the structure rises. God does not rush beauty. God does not reveal half-finished miracles. God does not release blessings before you are strong enough to carry them. What feels like waiting is actually shaping. What feels like loss is actually pruning. What feels like confusion is actually positioning. You have been asking why it has taken so long. You have been wondering why others seem to move ahead while you feel stuck. But God is not preparing something ordinary for you. God is not preparing something temporary for you. God is not preparing something that will fade with time. God is preparing something beautiful, something lasting, something that will change not only your life, but the lives connected to you. That kind of beauty requires depth. That kind of beauty requires patience. That kind of beauty requires transformation. Understand this deeply. God is more interested in who you are becoming than in what you are receiving. If God gave you the reward before refining your character, the blessing would destroy you. If God opened the door before strengthening your faith, you would retreat when resistance appeared. If God lifted you before grounding you, pride would replace gratitude. So God slows the process not to punish you, but to protect you. Every delay is mercy. Every closed door is guidance. Every moment of discomfort is instruction. There are things God is removing from your life that you beg to keep, and there are things God is keeping from you that you beg to receive. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and thank God for the prayers that were not answered the way you expected. God sees the full picture while you see a single moment. God sees the future impact while you feel present pain. Trusting God does not mean everything makes sense. It means you choose faith over fear even when clarity is missing. Right now, God is teaching you endurance. God is teaching you humility. God is teaching you discernment. God is teaching you how to walk by faith instead of emotion. You are learning how to pray when there is no applause, how to obey when there is no immediate reward, how to stand when there is no visible support. These lessons are not small. They are essential. They are the foundation of what is coming. There are battles you are facing that are not meant to defeat you, but to reveal what is inside you. God is showing you your strength. God is revealing your resilience. God is exposing your faith. Every time you choose hope instead of bitterness, you grow stronger. Every time you choose patience instead of anger, you mature. Every time you choose trust instead of control, you align with God's timing. This is not accidental. This is intentional preparation. You may feel overlooked, but God sees you. You may feel forgotten, but God remembers you. You may feel weak, but God is your strength. You may feel alone, but God is closer than you realize. When people walk away, God draws nearer. When resources dry up, God becomes your provision. When answers delay, God deepens your faith. God does not abandon those. God is preparing. God isolates them. God trains them. God refines them. There is a beauty that comes only after pressure. Diamonds do not form in comfort. Gold is not refined without fire. Strong faith is not built without testing. God allows the heat not to burn you, but to purify you. God allows the pressure not to crush you, but to shape you. What you are enduring right now is producing something within you that will soon be visible around you. Do not quit while the process is working. You have been praying for change, and God has been changing you. You have been praying for breakthrough, and God has been breaking old patterns. You have been praying for elevation, and God has been correcting your foundation. Elevation without stability leads to collapse. God is too loving to let you fall. So God rebuilds from the inside out. God heals the hidden wounds. God corrects the silent habits. God removes the quiet fears. This is how God prepares something beautiful. Sometimes God removes people from your life not because they are bad, but because they are not meant to go where you are going. Not everyone who starts with you is destined to finish with you. Some people are lessons, some are seasons, some are assignments. When God removes them, it hurts, but it heals. When God separates you, it feels lonely, but it protects you. God knows who can handle the future God has prepared for you. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are in process. God's timing is precise. God's calendar is perfect. What God has planned for you will arrive at the exact moment you are ready to receive it. Not 1 second early, not 1 second late. When it comes, you will understand why it had to take this long. When it manifests, you will see how every delay was necessary. There is beauty in what God is preparing because it will be rooted in peace, not anxiety. It will be built on wisdom, not impulse. It will be sustained by faith, not fear. You will not have to force it. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to beg for it. What God prepares comes with alignment. What God ordains comes with confirmation. What God releases comes with rest. You are being taught how to hear God's voice more clearly. You are being taught how to recognize distractions. You are being taught how to value purpose over popularity. God is training your spirit to discern what looks good from what is God. Many things can appear attractive, but only what God prepares will carry peace. Only what God designs will endure pressure. Only what God blesses will multiply without sorrow. Do not underestimate the season you are in. This season is building your spiritual muscles. This season is sharpening your awareness. This season is strengthening your trust. God is using ordinary days to prepare extraordinary outcomes. God is using small acts of obedience to unlock massive doors. God is using quiet faithfulness to prepare loud testimonies. There are prayers you whispered through tears that God heard clearly. There are moments you thought no one noticed when God was watching closely. There were times you felt like giving up, but something within you refused to quit. That strength did not come from you alone. God placed it there. God is sustaining you because God is not finished with you. What is coming will make sense of what you have endured. The beauty God is preparing will heal the wounds of your past. It will restore what was stolen. It will replace what was broken. It will redeem what was lost. God does not waste pain. God transforms it. God does not ignore suffering. God repurposes it. God does not forget tears. God turns them into testimony. Stay faithful in the unseen season. Stay obedient in the waiting season. Stay hopeful in the silent season. God is not testing you to see if you will fail. God is preparing you to see how strong you can become. Every step you take in faith is moving you closer to what God has designed. There will come a moment when things begin to shift quickly. What took years to prepare will manifest suddenly. What seemed impossible will become inevitable. What you thought would never change will align all at once. That is how God works. God prepares quietly and reveals suddenly. When it happens, you will know it was God because no human effort could have arranged it. You will walk into rooms you once dreamed about. You will stand in places you once prayed for. You will live in answers you once cried over. And when you look back, you will see that the delay protected you, the pain shaped you, the silence strengthened you, and the waiting refined you. The beauty of what God prepares is not only in the outcome, but in who you become along the way. So do not rush the process. Do not compare your journey. Do not measure your progress by someone else's timeline. God is personal. God is intentional. God is detailed. What God is preparing for you has your name written on it. It fits your calling. It matches your capacity. It aligns with your purpose. Even now, God is arranging conversations you have not yet had. God is aligning opportunities you cannot yet see. God is softening hearts you have not yet met. God is opening doors you do not yet know exist. While you sleep, God works. While you wait, God builds. While you trust, God prepares something beautiful for you, something that will require you to walk in humility, gratitude, and faith, something that will remind you that every step, every tear, every prayer, every moment of endurance was part of a divine preparation that continues to unfold in ways greater than you can fully grasp as you keep moving forward with your heart anchored in God. There is a deeper work happening within you that cannot be measured by what you see on the surface. God is shaping your inner vision before unveiling the outer manifestation. Many people fail, not because the blessing was wrong, but because their perception was untrained. God is teaching you how to see with faith before you see with your eyes. When your vision aligns with God's purpose, you will no longer panic when things look delayed. You will no longer envy what others have. You will no longer rush what God is carefully forming. You will understand that beauty prepared by God is never rushed, never forced, and never fragile. God is also teaching you how to surrender control without surrendering hope. This is a powerful lesson because control feeds fear, but surrender feeds trust. When you try to control outcomes, you shrink your spirit to the size of your understanding. But when you surrender to God, your spirit expands to the size of God's wisdom. God is asking you to become passive. God is asking you to become aligned. Alignment is when your will bends toward God's will. Not because you are weak, but because you trust that God knows what you cannot yet see. There are moments when God allows uncertainty to stretch your faith. Certainty is comfortable, but it does not grow you. Faith grows in the space between promise and fulfillment. God often gives you a glimpse of what is possible and then leads you through a path that seems contradictory. This is not confusion, this is training. God is teaching you to believe beyond evidence, to stand firm without validation, and to remain faithful without applause. These are not small spiritual skills. These are the traits required to steward what God is preparing. God is also refining your motives. You may think you want the outcome, but God is examining the reason. Why do you want it? What will you do with it? Who will you become because of it? God does not just give gifts, God entrusts responsibilities. The beauty God is preparing will demand integrity, humility, and wisdom. That is why God delays some blessings until your heart is ready to carry them without being corrupted by them. Pay attention to how your values are shifting. Things that once excited you no longer satisfy you. Things that once distracted you now feel empty. This is not loss, this is discernment. God is changing your appetite. God is teaching you to desire depth over display, substance over status, purpose over praise. When God prepares something beautiful, God also prepares your heart to recognize it and protect it. You are also learning how to forgive without closure, how to move forward without explanations, and how to remain kind without guarantees. These are not weaknesses, these are marks of spiritual maturity. God is teaching you that peace is more powerful than being right, and obedience is more valuable than being understood. When you stop needing everyone to agree with you, you become free to walk where God leads you. There are hidden battles you have won that no one applauded. There are temptations you resisted that no one noticed. There are nights you prayed instead of quitting. These moments matter more than public victories. God sees what people overlook. God records what others dismiss. And God rewards what is done in sincerity. What God is preparing will be built on these unseen victories, not on visible achievements. God is also restoring your sense of identity. For too long, you may have measured yourself by outcomes, titles, or approval. But God is pulling you back to truth. Your value is not what you produce, but who you belong to. When this truth settles in your spirit, fear loses its grip. You stop striving to prove yourself. You stop chasing validation. You start moving with quiet confidence, knowing that God's hand is on your life. Do not be surprised if God challenges your comfort. Comfort can become a cage if it keeps you from growth. God sometimes disrupts routines to awaken purpose. God sometimes allows discomfort to reveal hidden potential. You may feel stretched, but stretching increases capacity. God is enlarging your ability to receive, sustain, and steward what is coming. You are also being taught how to listen more than you speak, how to wait more than you rush, and how to trust more than you worry. These shifts are subtle, but they are powerful. They indicate that your spirit is becoming more sensitive to God's direction. Sensitivity to God is more valuable than speed. When you move at God's pace, you arrive with peace. God is preparing something beautiful that will require discernment to maintain. Not everything that looks like an opportunity is from God. Not every open door is meant to be entered. God is sharpening your discernment now so that later you will not be deceived by shortcuts. Shortcuts often lead to setbacks. God's path may seem longer, but it leads to stability. Notice how your prayers are changing. You are no longer just asking for relief, you are asking for wisdom. You are no longer just asking for escape, you are asking for strength. This is growth. God is elevating your spiritual language because God is elevating your spiritual responsibility. What God is preparing will require a deeper prayer life, a steadier faith, and a more disciplined mind. There will be moments when doubt tries to return, whispering that nothing is happening. Do not believe that voice. Preparation often looks invisible. Until it is complete. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. Roots develop before branches appear. God works from the inside out. Trust the process even when you cannot trace the progress. God is also aligning timing with character. Many people receive opportunities before they develop wisdom, and the opportunity becomes their downfall. God will not do that to you. God loves you too much to rush you into something that would harm you. When the time is right, you will step into what God has prepared with clarity, confidence, and peace. You will also notice that your tolerance for dishonesty, chaos, and compromise is decreasing. This is intentional. God is preparing you for environments that require integrity. God is training you to walk away from what does not honor your spirit. Every time you choose alignment over convenience, you move closer to what God has prepared. Remember this, God's preparation often feels like subtraction before addition. God removes distractions, unhealthy attachments, and false expectations. This can feel like loss, but it is actually focus. Focus is powerful. When your energy is no longer scattered, your impact increases. God is focusing you for effectiveness. There will come a season when things begin to flow with less resistance. Not because life becomes perfect, but because you become grounded. You will respond instead of react. You will discern instead of assume. You will trust instead of panic. This inner stability is part of the beauty God is preparing. External success without internal peace is not beauty, it is burden. God gives beauty that sustains, not success that consumes. As you continue forward, remember that faith is not the absence of questions. It is the decision to trust God even when questions remain. God is not threatened by your questions. God invites them. But God also calls you to trust beyond them. This balance is where maturity lives. What God is preparing for you will reflect God's character. It will be purposeful, ordered, and meaningful. It will stretch you, but it will not break you. It will challenge you, but it will not consume you. It will elevate you, but it will keep you humble. This is how you will know it is from God. There is another truth you must hold firmly in your spirit. God does not prepare beauty only for display, but for purpose. What God is forming in your life is not meant to impress others. It is meant to fulfill a divine assignment. That is why God is teaching you responsibility alongside hope. God is training your hands even while strengthening your heart. When the moment arrives, you will not just admire what God has done, you will know how to steward it with wisdom. God is also teaching you how to remain grounded when favor begins to rise. Favor without grounding leads to instability. So God anchors you now. God allows you to experience humility so that later honor will not intoxicate you. God allows you to walk unnoticed so that later recognition will not redefine you. The beauty God prepares is balanced. It lifts you without losing you. You may notice that God has been changing the way you respond to pressure. Where you once reacted emotionally, you now pause. Where you once panicked, you now pray. Where you once rushed, you now wait. This is not coincidence. God is teaching you spiritual authority. Authority is not loudness. It is calm confidence rooted in trust. When God prepares something beautiful, God also prepares you to walk in authority without arrogance. There are truths God is engraving into your spirit that no one can take from you. Truths learned in waiting are deeper than truths learned in abundance. When you have nothing to rely on but God, your faith becomes unshakable. Later, when abundance comes, it will not replace God. It will reflect God. That is the difference between blessing and burden. God is also refining your understanding of success. Success in God's eyes is alignment, not accumulation. It is obedience, not applause. It is faithfulness, not fame. When your definition of success changes, your anxiety decreases. You stop chasing what looks impressive and start valuing what is eternal. This shift protects the beauty God is preparing from being contaminated by empty ambition. You are learning that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of perseverance. God does not remove every obstacle. God equips you to overcome them. Each challenge you face now is increasing your speed. Spiritual endurance. Endurance is essential because what God prepares often requires consistency to sustain. God is not preparing you for a moment, but for a lifetime. God is also teaching you how to stand firm in truth when compromise looks easier. There will always be options that promise quick results at the cost of integrity. God is sharpening your discernment so you recognize these traps before they entangle you. The beauty God prepares is clean. It does not require deception. It does not demand compromise. It does not come with regret. Pay attention to how your patience is expanding. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active trust. It is choosing to remain faithful even when outcomes are delayed. God values patience because patience reveals trust. And trust is the currency of divine preparation. Without trust, even blessings feel heavy. With trust, even challenges become meaningful. There will be times when God asks you to release what feels familiar. Familiarity can become limitation when it keeps you from growth. God calls you forward, not backward. Letting go is not losing, it is making room. Every time you release something God has outgrown in your life, you create space for what God is preparing next. God is also teaching you how to celebrate progress, not just arrival. Growth often happens quietly. Healing often happens gradually. Transformation often happens internally before it becomes visible externally. Do not dismiss small victories. God works through increments. Every step forward matters. You are also being taught how to endure misunderstanding. Not everyone will recognize what God is doing in you. Some will doubt you, some will misinterpret you, some will project their fears onto your faith. Do not let that distract you. God's approval is more important than public opinion. What God is preparing does not need universal agreement, it needs obedience. God is strengthening your spiritual resilience. Resilience is the ability to remain hopeful without becoming hardened. God does not want you strong but bitter. God wants you strong and compassionate. That balance is rare, and that is why it requires preparation. The beauty God prepares carries grace, not resentment. There will come moments when God asks you to act before you feel ready. Preparation does not always eliminate fear. It teaches you how to move through it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is obedience in spite of it. When you step forward in faith, God meets you with provision. Movement activates alignment. God is also reminding you that nothing in your journey has been wasted. Every setback taught you wisdom. Every delay built endurance. Every disappointment refined discernment. God redeems time. Even what felt lost is being woven into something meaningful. That is part of the beauty God prepares. It includes restoration. You may feel that the weight you carry is heavy, but weight builds strength. God trusts you with pressure because God knows what is inside you. You are capable of more than you realize because God is your source. When you feel weak, lean into God's strength. Dependence on God is not weakness, it is wisdom. As you move forward, remain teachable. Pride closes doors that humility opens. God resists arrogance but draws near to sincerity. When you remain humble, God continues to guide you. The beauty God prepares is not stagnant, it grows. Staying teachable keeps you aligned with that growth. You are being shaped into someone who can walk through open doors without forgetting the process that led there. Gratitude will guard your heart. Gratitude keeps success from becoming entitlement. Gratitude keeps favor from becoming pride. Gratitude keeps your spirit anchored in God. There will be a moment when you realize that the waiting did not delay your life, it deepened it. That the silence did not weaken your faith, it purified it. That the struggle did not destroy you, it prepared you. When that realization comes, peace will settle in a way you have never known before. So continue to trust, continue to obey, continue to believe even when evidence is thin. God is faithful to complete what has begun. The beauty God is preparing will arrive with clarity, stability, and purpose. And when it does, you will not only see it, you will be ready to live within it, carry it with wisdom, and honor God through it as you keep walking forward with unwavering trust in God's perfect plan. There is a sacred discipline God is cultivating in you right now. The discipline of joy that does not depend on circumstances. This kind of joy is not emotional excitement. It is spiritual confidence. It is the quiet assurance that God is at work even when outcomes are unclear. When joy becomes rooted in trust rather than results, fear loses its authority over you. God is teaching you how to rejoice without evidence so that later, when evidence appears, gratitude will overflow naturally. God is also reshaping the way you interpret resistance. What once felt like opposition is now revealing itself as confirmation. Not every obstacle is a sign to stop. Some are signs that what you are moving toward matters. Resistance often appears where purpose is present. God allows opposition to sharpen your discernment and strengthen your resolve. When you stop viewing resistance as rejection, you begin to recognize it as refinement. There is an unseen realm of alignment taking place beyond your awareness. God is coordinating timing, people, resources, and opportunities with precision. What feels slow to you is exacting God's plan. God works with intention, not haste. When things align, they will do so with such clarity that confusion will dissolve. Until then, trust sustains what sight cannot confirm. God is also teaching you the power of restraint. In a world that demands instant reaction, God trains you to respond with wisdom. Silence, when guided by God, is not weakness, it is mastery. Not every battle requires your voice. Not every misunderstanding requires explanation. God is developing discernment in you so that when you speak, your words carry weight and purpose. You are learning how to carry hope without becoming naive. Hope rooted in God is strong, realistic, and resilient. It does not deny hardship, but it refuses despair. This kind of hope is anchored. It keeps you steady through uncertainty and patient through delay. God is strengthening this hope within you because what is coming will require consistency, not enthusiasm alone. God is also expanding your spiritual capacity by teaching you how to wait without withdrawing. Some people shut down when answers delay, but God is teaching you how to remain engaged, to keep loving, to keep serving, to keep believing. This is a rare strength. Remaining open while waiting requires trust. God honors that trust by deepening your connection and sharpening your awareness. There is a quiet confidence forming within you that no one can take away. Confidence that does not need to announce itself. Confidence that does not seek approval. Confidence rooted in the knowledge that God's hand is guiding your steps. This confidence allows you to move forward without comparison. Comparison drains energy and distorts vision. God is freeing you from it so you can focus fully on your own assignment. God is also redefining how you measure progress. Progress is not always visible movement. Sometimes it is internal stability. The fact that you no longer react the way you once did is progress. The fact that you choose faith where you once chose fear is progress. The fact that you trust God more deeply now than before is progress. These shifts matter because they determine how you will handle what is coming. There are lessons God teaches only through time. Wisdom cannot be rushed. Maturity cannot be skipped. God allows seasons to unfold slowly because growth requires space. You are not being delayed, you are being seasoned. And what is seasoned carries depth, resilience, and value. God is also strengthening your spiritual roots so that when growth accelerates, you remain stable. Rapid growth without strong roots leads to collapse. God is ensuring that when expansion comes, it does not overwhelm you. Stability is part of the beauty God prepares. Peace is part of the promise. You may sense that your tolerance for chaos is decreasing. This is intentional. God is refining your environment. God is guiding you towards spaces that nurture clarity, integrity, and purpose. You are becoming more selective, not because you are distant, but because you are discerning. This discernment protects what God is preparing. God is also teaching you how to walk forward without resentment. Carrying bitterness would contaminate the future God is preparing. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is releasing control. God is showing you that holding on to pain keeps you anchored to the past. Releasing it frees you to receive what is next. There is a legacy dimension to what God is preparing. This is not just about you. What God is forming in your life will influence others. Your endurance will inspire. Your faith will encourage. Your testimony will guide. That is why the preparation is thorough. God prepares vessels carefully when the impact is meant to extend beyond one life. God is also awakening a deeper sense of responsibility within you. Responsibility is not pressure, it is purpose. Knowing that what you carry matters changes how you move. It sharpens your choices. It deepens your commitment. God is entrusting you with preparation because God sees your potential to steward what is coming with wisdom. There will be moments when the path ahead still feels unclear. Do not let that unsettle you. Clarity often comes step by step, not all at once. God reveals enough to keep you moving, not enough to remove the need for trust. Trust keeps you connected. Connection keeps you guided. God is also teaching you to recognize when to rest. Rest is not quitting, it is renewal. God designed rest as a rhythm, not a reward. When you rest in God, you reset your strength and refocus your spirit. Burnout is not a sign of dedication, it is a sign of imbalance. God is teaching you sustainable faith. You are becoming someone who can hold both patience and expectation at the same time. This balance is powerful. Expectation without patience leads to frustration. Patience without expectation leads to passivity. God is forming both in you so that you wait. Why? Hope and act with wisdom. Even now, God is building courage in you to say yes when the moment comes. Preparation is not complete until obedience is ready. Obedience is not blind. It is informed by trust. When the time arrives, you will move not because everything is certain, but because God is faithful. And as this journey continues, you will notice that your faith feels less fragile and more grounded, less reactive and more assured, less dependent on outcomes and more anchored in the unchanging nature of God as the preparation continues unfolding in ways that strengthen your spirit, refine your vision, and quietly draw you closer to what God is still forming just ahead. Let this truth settle deeply within you. The season you are in is not a pause in God's plan. It is a sacred passage through it. Every breath you take, every step you walk, every moment you endure is already woven into what God is preparing. You are not circling aimlessly, you are being led intentionally. God has never lost sight of you, not for a moment. Even when your strength felt thin, God's strength was carrying you. Even when your vision blurred, God's vision remained clear. Hold your faith steady, not because everything feels right, but because God is faithful. Trust does not require visible proof, it requires a settled heart. The beauty God is preparing will not arrive empty-handed. It will arrive with wisdom, with peace, with depth, and with purpose. When it comes, it will not shock you into fear. It will confirm what God has been quietly building within you all along. You will recognize it not by its noise, but by its alignment. So walk forward with humility and courage. Let gratitude guard your heart and patience guide your steps. Do not rush what God is completing. Do not doubt what God has already ordained. Stay attentive, stay faithful, stay anchored. The same God who sustained you in the unseen season will stand with you in the revealed one. And everything unfolding now is drawing you closer to the moment when preparation and purpose meet under the unchanging guidance of God.